Nityanandam, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for all the viewers that have been leaving their comments and have been subscribing to the channel. It's actually quite a nice boost. It brings me confidence to know that there are people out there, there are viewers out there who are enjoying what I am sharing. Today, I wanted to share about my personal development journey and how it started, where it started. It started with a book, actually, a simple book that was given to me in 1997, and how it has led me to where I am today. So, in 1997, I happened to be working for quite a famous retail outlet called Selfridges, and there, I met lots of new people. This was like a part-time job that I was doing while I was at university studying interior design. I had a Bachelor of Arts in Interior Design. So, whilst I was supporting myself and financially, so I had this job. But I met new people, and during that time, I was given a book. It's called The Power of Positive Thinking. So, clearly, this person felt that I needed it at the time. I thought it would benefit me. I still have that book. I remember reading only the first page of it and leaving it aside. It didn't quite click with me. I didn't quite get what the person probably thought I would get. In any case, I finished my university and I got myself a degree in interior design and then moved on to working for a company. And one fine day, it was I think probably a year or so after working for this company, um, it was designing the interiors of Hiltons and Marriott's and Movenpicks, things like that. So 5-star, 3-star hotels, designing the interiors of them. So I was enjoying myself. I was enjoying being getting established in the design industry and feeling quite blessed that I actually had this job. But at the same time, I was going through some life changes in the relationship area, and I wasn't quite handling it. There was quite a lot of, I would say, suppressed depression that was happening. And the job was keeping me busy, but I was quite sensitive that any false thing or anything harsh said would really drive me to into deeper depression. So a more powerlessness, I would say. So one fine evening, as I was walking my way from the workplace to home, to get to home, so I was on my way to the station. I work near King's Cross in London. On my way there, as I walked onto the main street, um, I saw somebody pass by on the main road, and I was walking on the pavement, of course, and there's a person who uh, went past me on a bicycle. And for some reason, I clocked it, as in I noticed it for whatever reason, and then I continued walking and I decided that I'll actually get some money out of the ATM. So, as I was drawing money out of the ATM, I had a person just tap on my shoulder. And as I turned around, I saw that it was an acquaintance from my university who was very excited to see that it was me. The person that had passed on the bike was actually this acquaintance from the university. So, so anyway, he had something really special he wanted to share with me. He was on his way to some event which he was very excited about, and he wanted me to know. In any case, he didn't have the time. He had to rush off, so he gave me his phone number. Quickly gave me his phone number. I told him where I worked. I described where I worked and the name of the company. And then, of course, he went off on his way, and I went off on my way. So once, of course, he well, after a couple of days, after 2 or 3 days, I hadn't heard from him, so I called. When I called, I found that I was not able to get through to him. Excuse me. I was not able to get through to him. So I thought, okay, maybe it's not meant to be. Just leave it. It's fine. There's no other way to contact. Any case, probably about 2 weeks later from that point, I was told, while I was busy with one of the technical drawings for one of the presentations, I was told that there is somebody waiting for me at the door. So as I went to the main um, door, I found that it was actually my this friend of mine, this acquaintance. I say acquaintance because he was doing landscape design, I was doing interior design, and we said hi, hello in university, but we didn't really get to any depth or talk to each other in any kind of a deep manner. So he was somebody that I knew was there as part of the program, as part of the university course, but nothing beyond that. In any case, he started to share with me about a program that he'd been to, which was like a 5-day personal development program, which he said changed his life. So I said, okay. I was a bit of a skeptic to begin with, and I was thinking, this sounds a little bit like brainwashing. I don't know if I want to do it. In any case, he was quite convincing. After a while, he shared the details of it, and I said, okay, so, and then this course costs money, so that kind of made it worse somewhere for me at that time. But a year later, I found myself on the program, and really my life started to change. My life started to transform. I started to blossom a bit more. Started to feel a lot more like, yes, there is something else I can do with my life. I don't have to be living like this. I can say what I want to say, and my past, which had quite a bit of abuse in it, need not interfere. Now, after that program had finished, I'd actually found a deeper depth to myself, a silence in me. I went on to two other programs that I did. And then, of course, my life changed. I got deeper into the journey, a quest to find out who is, I would say, God. I was looking for something higher or deeper, whatever it was. I was looking for something in my life. And I found myself searching frantically, and I took 2 months out of my life. So I took 2 months off. I quit my job. I was quite fed up with my boss at the time. I won't name who it is or the company, but it got to a point where I had to make a drastic change. So I made that change. I spent 2 months in US with my auntie, and I just had a different life experience. And then I came back, I found myself another job, and there on, the things that I wanted to create just started to happen. So I got married, and life was going fine until 8 months later. My father in law at that time was diagnosed with cancer, and he was going through a tough time along with the rest of us, battling cancer. And of course, it was the last stage. There's not much they could do, doctors couldn't do much. And 6 months later, he left the body. Well, basically, the departure of my father-in-law, my late father-in-law, meant that really the family, the marriage, everything got torn apart. It got stretched more. So I went, of course, I didn't have anything or anyone to rely on. I did have some personal development, like secrets of, what was that secret of getting rich, and the secret, and the science of getting rich, and all these kind of books I had read, or I'd even probably dabbled in a little bit of Anthony Robbins. These kind of things I had like lots of CDs of, and DVDs, and heard of or read books of. Simultaneously, books like Many Lives. It was like, I think, Many Souls, Many Lives, Many Souls, or something along the lines of these kind of books that I had read. I'm not recalling them exactly correctly now, because that phase of my life is past, and I'm getting on to the next phase. In any case, all I had all of the tools, but nothing was changing for me. I was not having the deeper breakthroughs that I was looking for somewhere. And one thing led to another, and ultimately, actually, the everything that I had, the tools that I had, didn't help me, and I ended up getting divorced from my husband, and I also lost my job. Then it came to 2009, and by 2009 I didn't have a job, I didn't have a husband, and the circle of friends that I had totally misunderstood me. The time that I needed to recover, they did not give. They misunderstood and they also had left by then. So no colleague friends, I had no circle of friends. By then, I had actually decided to take charge of the abuse that I had gone through. So I was in the process of going to the police and to the court. So even the larger family had actually disappeared. No job, and of course, no husband. So I'd come back to zero almost. And thankfully, my parents were able to support me. Again, I had the space and time to think about what I wanted to do, take time out, and I did. And 6 months into 2009 is when I got to know about Swamiji, His Holiness the Avatar Paramahamsa Nityananda. By this time, I had been to so many different programs. I had been through to T. Harv Eker. I had coaching for around a year and a half or plus with Anthony Robbins companies. None of this made the kind of difference that Swamiji started to make with the one meditation that I did with him. And this was not even with Swamiji in person. It was one of these recorded CDs where he had put a complete meditation called Nitya Dhyan together. That's the first time I did the meditation. I got completely hooked to Swamiji. Something deep in me that I had been seeking just got answered. So in a long way, I've come to a point that all the personal development stuff that I've done, yes, it brought some transformation, but it was just rearranging some parts of my life. And I always found that I was never able to get all of the areas of my life in one tangible way to work. Whereas with Swamiji, I found that I've got deeper fulfillment. And everything in my life to the smallest detail gets realigned. Even my desires that I have are getting matured. So there are times when I may have really desperately wanted an ice cream a day. For example, I'm giving an example. I've had the maturity now to ask for something a lot more deeper, a lot more meaningful for myself and for others. The desire to contribute towards the well-being of planet Earth, for instance. I get to do that daily. I get to do that moment by moment. Every time a person gets liberated from anything that they're stuck with, I get to do that moment by moment. Even simple thing like creating this YouTube video channel, it is having a breakthrough for myself at a deeper level. So always creating win-win. So in a long way, my message and the point I wanted to make is that it is great to have personal development. It is great to have all of these things, but where personal development stops is where Swamiji takes off. And there is a lot more to discover about ourselves. There is a lot more to experience about ourselves, to get to know about ourselves. Is that 90% that people say that we are not able to use, that potential we are not able to use? 90% of our inner space that we are not able to use, or our brain power we are not able to use. Swamiji is able to help us tap into that. I discovered about Kundalini. I discovered about third eye. These are things that I had just read about somewhere. I didn't think it applied to me. But these are beautiful, powerful aspects of ourselves, which unfortunately no personal development book can, or video, or CD, or a person teaching it can give. Only an incarnation, an enlightened being can give us access to this amazing potential that we have. At the same time as expressing our uniqueness. It's coming beyond that competition that only this one leader, there cannot be another leader. This is rubbish. As we said, Swamiji says, if you have a self-discarding shelf, then put my books there. But if it is self-development, it cannot be developed. This is so true. This video I'm making specifically so for people who've started their journey, have taken it to a certain point, and if you're finding yourself going round and round in the same circles, maybe it's time to have a breakthrough. Check out what Swamiji is doing. See what he's sharing about the different areas of life in a very simple, beautiful way. He really makes sense. He hits the point where it needs to be hit, and he helps us have a breakthrough. So once again, inviting you to have a look. excuse me, to have a look at what Swamiji is doing. His Holiness the Avatar Paramahamsa Nityananda. He's my guru, and it is one of, I always thank myself for being smart. There are times when I'm angry with myself for not being smart, but this is one of the most fundamental, smartest, most intelligent decision I've made, is to check out Swamiji's meditations, to hang around the programs that he's done, to participate in them, to continue volunteering, and to be part of the Sangha. This is the single most intelligent thing that I have done. So, excuse me, inviting you all to learn more about what Swamiji does. So, inviting all of you to come and discover more about Swamiji, discover the program Swamiji is conducting, and especially the 21-day program called Inner Awakening. Please leave your comments and any queries that you have in the comment section, and I'll get back to you. There will be at the end of the video details on Inner Awakening and details on nityananda.org, where you can find more of Swamiji's teachings. Thank you for listening. Nityanandam.